How's everybody today? Pete here at Spawn Fly Fish, ready for another fun fly tying tutorial. And I think in my fly fishing diet, I don't tie enough woolly buggers or fish enough of them. So today we're going to take care of that. We're going to tie a fun woolly bugger. This time thinking pink, maybe even for some pink salmon. So grab your vise, grab your tools. Let's have some fun. As you can see in the vise today, we do have a standard hook, standard bead, already something just slightly different than what we typically have here. But this hook specifically is the Ahrex NS110, the Nordic Salt 110. This is a size 2. For the bead, I've got a 7/32 gritty tungsten bead in pink. And then I've got just 6 wraps of some lead-free 0.025 weighted wire there to hold all that goodness in place. And let's get some thread started. This is just a little 6/0 pink. And yes, of course, 140 would work. And if you're into it, maybe even beefier, a little 200 or 210, 240. It's going to be a big bug, so get that big thread out if you're a fan. Just going to get some thread wraps over that weighted wire, make sure nothing's going to spin on us. Then I'm going to come back here to this tail area. And so if you look, I'm going to rest that bobbin just slightly forward of that barb right there. And I'm going to give myself a couple wraps of it and get up in front of the hook point. All I've done now is give myself a little indicator where I want the materials to be tied in. Nothing further back, because then we'll get an odd angle. So thinking in woolly bugger here, true woolly bugger fashion, we are going to do a two-tone tail using some Marabou. And this is some Fish Hunter Marabou. This is their medium pink. All I'm going to do here is get that hook as far as a reference of how long I want this tail. And then I transfer that grip so that in my off tying hand, I have the spot that is indicated as tie-in spot. And then we line that up with our little marker that we put here as our tie-in spot. And voila, we've got a tail exactly where we wanted it to be. Funny how that works. As far as this leftover butt section of Marabou, I don't want to just cut right here. I want to pull this up, get my scissor resting against those weighted wire wraps, and go ahead and cut there. Now as I finish wrapping these down, guess what? It's going to match up to line right up with the butt end of those weighted wire wraps. And now we have a uniform underbody. If that's not enough, we want two-tone tail. We're going hot here today. We're going to have a lot going on. So now let's get into some fluorescent fuchsia. Such a fan of this color. And we're just going to lay that right on top of this first chunk of Marabou. Come right on top here with our wraps, get a couple of them to hold that in place, and then simply wrap down. Key here is maintain that grip in your off tying pinch, your off tying hand, pinch. And that way you don't get a lot of fibers rolling one way or the other. So you'll have pink on bottom, hot pink on top, or fuchsia. And that's kind of what we are looking for. Same deal here, albeit not quite as tidy because it's slightly different feather. Working with natural products. How about that? Just clip out all that goodness that you don't need. And then the rest of it, go ahead and wrap her down. Like so. All in the name of keeping that even underbody. And you see this bulks up that hook shank quite a bit. But we are using a hook with a very large hook gap here. And there's a reason. All right. At this point, I'm going to tie in a rib that will be used after we've done both the chenille and the body hackle. But for this, I'm using just some soft wire gold, and this is the size medium. Of course, you could go in with a pink wire or something other than that if you want. Honestly, I had this handy. I didn't want pink in there because it would just disappear, I think. Just want to be able to see it ever so slightly. And now for our body material, I've got some Squishenille. This stuff is amazing. This is the fluorescent hot pink in the size small. And these little latex bits in here act as mini legs, and so as this is being stripped through the water and the current's hitting it, it gets this little nervous vibration. And I did clean off a small tie-in section here. Again, this stuff's different than the, some standard chenille in that it does have that extra property of the little wiggles incorporated, and so just go ahead and give yourself a little cheater there, a little start, and trim some of that out if you want. All right, at this point, the only thing left to tie in for this stage would be our body hackle. I do have a pink saddle feather here, and of course, anything would work. Grizzly would be great. Grizzly pink, of course, would be amazing. This has got to be your fly though. After I tie it, this is going in my box. So I don't know what you're putting in your box. You're gonna have to figure that part out, and whatever is one handy on available, that's a good start. But two, make it yours. If you think, hey, this color would work better, by all means tie it in that color. So for now, let's get this chenille started. Get this Squishenille wrapped all the way up here. One thing to keep in mind, we do have some other elements coming into play, so I might not get all the way exactly right behind that bead. In fact, I might flip it over on you guys and just tie this off underneath for now. I don't want to cheat myself and crowd the area right behind the bead. One more wrap, and we will call this chenille good. Now we can safely cut that out. And there we go. And these little stragglers here that are trying to interfere with that bead or leaning forward even, go ahead and just get rid of those right now and take care of it. Great. So now we have our ribbing wire waiting. We have our body hackle here ready to play. So this first wrap, sometimes we get a second wrap right in front of it, or right next to it, I should say. And for this one though, we're just going to start hackling this bad boy back. One thing you want to make sure is this feather isn't going to get twisted on you. So make sure you take your time. Check it out. There we go. Just a little wiggle here as I get that wrapped into that chenille, and you can see how it's just going to release all those fibers off of there, and that's what we want. That's the breathing factor of a woolly bugger, is that hackle. So now you see here we've gotten back to our ribbing wire. So I'm just going to catch that feather here, and now I will start wiggling and working the opposite direction toward the hook eye with our ribbing wire. And if you just wiggle this as you go through it, you're not going to trap all those beautiful hackle feathers or fibers that you just meticulously wrapped in there. And look at that. We end up at the front. And go ahead and tie that wire down. Make sure you tie it really well. And then we can safely cut that out. Ta-da! Nothing to it. And I think this is the most fun part about tying a woolly bugger, is this little piece of feather here. You don't want to cut that. If you cut it, it slicks off the fibers. Any fish gets its teeth into that quill, it can creep up under the wire. Now it undoes itself. So what we do instead is we simply pluck it out, and then it leaves a rough edge with the fiber still attached, and is much less likely to slip underneath that wire and come undone. Right there, you've got a pretty good looking pink woolly bugger that would definitely work for pink salmon. But that's not enough. Let's go a little bit crazy. Here I've got some crazy legs that are tipped. So this is the salmon pink. You can see that there in the middle portion, and then it's tipped hot pink. And all we're going to do is veil two legs over the thread, line up where that hot tip portion starts off each leg. So I've got two on my side in theory, and two on your side in theory. And just to really hammer down that mentality, I'm going to just sort of separate these guys a little bit, come up and grab the two legs on your side and force them over ever so slightly. And then I can do the same on my side. And then I'll get my offhand involved here and just make sure that these are off to the side ever so slightly from the top. So I don't want them riding exactly on the dorsal side of this. I do want them slightly off. Now, when you have this, you can see how that hot tip pink is going to incorporate into the tail color. And so it brings the medium pink in with the main salmon portion. And I don't need these going all the way back, maybe 2/3 of the way back on that tail, just past halfway point is great. And there we have that. One more element just because we need to make this a fun fly. Now I've got one more Marabou feather here, but I don't necessarily want a big mess coming off as I wrap this. I want to control the chaos. And so all I'm going to do is strip the leading edge of this feather and leave the tailing edge or trailing edge, whichever you prefer. And so this is what it will look like. So as I tie this in, I'm going to tie it just concave side down. I've trimmed out a cute little tie-in spot there and get that started. And from there, we're just going to wrap a little bit and give a collar to this thing that is simply adding a little bit more movement, a little bit more contrast, all the things that I really like to incorporate into a fly, especially a big streamer like this. Any salmon fly, I'm usually looking for excess movement. And so here we go. You can see it's not going to take much to disrupt this pattern and break up that monotony. Like a wrap and a half is all we need. That's it. That's the stuff right there. Make a clean little separation of those fibers from the quill, and that's your tie down spot. Make sure none of these are getting tangled there. A little water would help, but we're going to do what we can do. Get that tied down, get your thread in front, and make sure you're not going to cut anything that you don't want to cut. And now get in there for a nice clean cut on that quill. A little comb action here. A little day at the spa for this guy. Just release those fibers that might have gotten stuck on the other materials as you wrapped it. And once those are released, then we can come in with our offhand, pull everything back, and make a clean, neat thread neck right behind that bead. And really fill in that space a little bit. There we go. Now it's time for that whip finish, everybody's favorite. There we go. There's one fiber that's messing with me. I think we can get by it. There we go. Nothing to it. Trim this out. And a little head cement, and this sucker's ready to go. So I hope you guys are enjoying these pink flies. I don't know why, but tying pink flies is kind of fun. It's not always what we go for unless it's salmon season, but I try to keep it in mind as an alternative for even for hitting the lakes. You know, every lake, it's going to be commonly hit with the same flies over and over. And so if you just go in with something a little different, sometimes that's enough. I haven't seen anybody fishing this one as of late, so we might have to give it a whirl. There you have it. A very wiggly, movement-based woolly bugger for pink salmon, monster trout, and even bass. Awesome. Nothing to it. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, by all means, please hit like. Please hit subscribe. We will see you all on the water.